While investors agonise over Queensland Rail, the Reserve Bank Board will be agonising over interest rates. It didn't get much help today. Another set of numbers showed house prices were virtually flat for a third straight quarter. The Bureau of Statistics says prices around the country are up by just 0.1%. If anything, it adds weight to the now more popular view that the RBA will leave interest rates on hold tomorrow. Here's Simon Palin.
Australians have become accustomed to hefty house price growth, thanks largely to shortages in supply. But in the 3 months to September, price growth has slowed to a crawl.
You'd expect that, higher mortgage rates have been feeding through to that housing demand's a little bit softer because we're seeing some of the government encouragement disappear in the form of first home buyers loans, etc.
Across the 8 capital cities, the ABS House Price Index rose by just 0.1%. It's the smallest advance since the first quarter of 2009. Melbourne managed the biggest increase, up 2.7% for the quarter, while Brisbane led the losers, down 2.1%.
The high Australian dollar is seeing a reduction in terms of tourism demand. That's hitting the Queensland market. The fact that resource projects haven't accelerated in Queensland after the global financial crisis.
The Reserve Bank will also be looking at new inflation data when deciding whether to lift interest rates from 4.5%. The TD Securities Melbourne Institute monthly inflation gauge rose by 1/3% in October. That's its fastest rate since June.
We know that the Reserve is on alert looking at inflationary pressures going forward, and that with the economy strengthening over time, you would only expect those to be going up.
But others say when volatile measures like fuel are excluded, the inflation gauge shows a different story.
What it shows is there is no inflation pressures in the economy. Inflation is very much under control.
The inflation data and the weak house price growth are leading almost 80% of economists to predict interest rates will stay on hold.
We don't think the Reserve Bank's got any justification to be lifting interest rates and believe that there's some risks in the Reserve Bank lifting rates at this point in time. The economy has basically hit a flat spot. It doesn't seem to have a lot of momentum at present.
I'm going to go against the market and say that I think the Reserve Bank likes to surprise people. So now that expectations are no longer for a rise, I think that's a perfect opportunity for them to get ahead of the curve again.
All will be known shortly before the barriers break at tomorrow's Melbourne Cup.